Nobody saw it coming. No headlines, no hype. But now, the rest of the NFL is finally waking up. There's a linebacker in Atlanta who's been terrorizing offenses, and it's time the world learns his name. Kaden Ellis isn't just good, he's a silent storm. And he just got called the best at what he does. Falcons fans, get ready. The league is officially on notice. When the NFL goes quiet in late June and news is hard to find, sometimes a story hits you like lightning. And this time, it's about a Falcon. A Falcon who just got major respect, not from fans, but from ESPN themselves. They just released a list of the top 11 most specialized players in the league, and guess who showed up? Kaden Ellis. That's right. The Falcons linebacker just got named the best blitzing off-ball linebacker in the entire NFL. Let that sink in. If you've been following the NFC South, this won't shock you. Kaden Ellis has been putting in work. Whether it was back in New Orleans or now in Atlanta, this guy's been a quiet monster on the field. Not flashy, not loud, but dangerous. He's one of those guys no one talks about until it's too late. Opposing fans and even players don't recognize the name, but by halftime they're Googling him on their phones like, who the heck is this guy and why is he wrecking our offense? By the end of the game, it's always the same reaction. We should have prepared for him. He's a problem. Sure, most people know about Falcon stars like Jesse Bates or A.J. Terrell, but Kaden Ellis? He's the guy that sneaks up on you and ruins your whole day. And now ESPN's Bill Barnwell is putting respect on his name. He broke down why Ellis is elite, and the numbers back it up. But even before we dive into the stats, let's talk about what makes him so special on the field. He's the kind of linebacker who always knows what to do. Picture this. He's supposed to cover the running back in a play, but the running back stays behind to block. Now what? Most players freeze. They stand around like a statue. Not Ellis. He sees the opening, and he attacks. He becomes an extra pass rusher out of nowhere. It's called a green dog blitz. And Ellis does it better than almost anyone in the NFL. It's like flipping a switch from passive to aggressive. 1 second, he's a linebacker in coverage. The next, he's charging through the line, blowing up the quarterback's protection. And that's the key. Even when he doesn't get many chances to rush, he makes every single one count. So, what are the numbers saying about Ellis? Just wait, because they're going to shock you. ESPN dug deep, and the stats prove exactly why this guy is a weapon most teams don't even see coming, until it's too late. Do you think Kaden Ellis is one of the most underrated defenders in the league right now? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And tell us, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you in the Falcons' defense this year? Let's hear it, Dirty Birds fans. All right. Now let's get into the numbers that are putting Kaden Ellis in elite company. According to ESPN, when they lowered the pass rush tracking filter to include players with at least 100 plays, Ellis had a 26.4% pass rush win rate. That's a mouthful. But here's what matters. He tied with Danielle Hunter for second best in the entire NFL. Only Aiden Hutchinson ranked higher. That's right. Kaden Ellis is sitting among the best pass rushers in the league. That's not just hype, that's data. But hold on, let's take a quick time out and be real about something here. These ESPN stats, they sound impressive, and they are, but they're also a bit mysterious. See, ESPN doesn't exactly have a guy sitting in a dark film room watching every single Kaden Ellis snap and deciding, yep, that was a win, nope, that one's a loss. That's not how it works. Instead, they use tracking chips, tiny pieces of tech inside the shoulder pads of players. These chips measure movement, positioning, and separation between defenders and offensive linemen. So when ESPN says Ellis won a rep, what they mean is, the chip says he beat the offensive lineman. That sounds cool, right? But here's the issue. Sometimes the chip says a defender won the battle. But if you watch the game, the play was already headed the other direction. The lineman might have let up because the ball was long gone. So technically Ellis won that rep. But did it really matter on the field? That's where the debate comes in. Look, this doesn't take anything away from Kaden Ellis. The guy is a beast. He earns every bit of praise. But as fans, we've got to look deeper. When ESPN throws out a number like 26.4% pass rush win rate, we should ask, where did that number come from? What does it really mean on the field? It's fun, it's flashy, but without knowing exactly how they tracked every rep, we've got to keep a little skepticism in the back of our minds. Still, whether it's tech chips or film, one thing is clear. Kaden Ellis shows up, he breaks through, and he makes quarterbacks uncomfortable. Period. And that 26.4%, even if it's not perfect, it tells us one thing loud and clear. He's not just good, he's rising. Fast. What do you think about these ESPN stats? Do you trust the tech? Or would you rather watch the film and decide for yourself? Drop a comment below and tell us, is Kaden Ellis the most overlooked linebacker in football right now? Now look, let's be honest here. Is there anywhere in the world where some football genius is locked away in a basement, watching the all-22 film from every single NFL game, grading all 11 defenders on every play, every Sunday? Yeah, probably not. So when we see stats like these pass rush win rates, it's smart to stay a little cautious. Keep that in your back pocket. Stats are powerful, but they're not perfect. Now, back to the real story. Over the last 2 seasons, when you set the filter to players with at least 150 tracked plays, Kaden Ellis still ranks 4th in the entire NFL in pass rush win rate at 23.6%. That's not just a hot streak, that's consistency. That's proof that Ellis isn't a one-season wonder. He's been doing this at a high level for multiple years. So where does that leave us heading into this season? Well, this is where things get really exciting and really interesting. The Falcons just added some serious firepower to their defense. James Pierce Jr., Leonard Floyd, and Jalen Walker. That changes everything. See, over the past couple of years, the Falcons didn't have enough juice on the edge. So what did they do? They leaned heavily on Kaden Ellis to make up for it. He wasn't just blitzing because it was his specialty, he was blitzing because they had no choice. But now they have options. If these new guys, Pierce, Walker, Floyd, start getting home on their own, suddenly Raheem Morris can ease up on the Ellis pressure dial. He can use Ellis more strategically, less out of desperation. Imagine this. It's Week 7. The Falcons are ranked 16th in sacks. Last year at this time, they were dead last. That's a massive leap. Now Morris is thinking, we don't need to send Ellis every down. We can pull him back a little, let him help in coverage, or shut down the run game instead. Sure, coverage may not be Ellis's biggest strength, but it gives the defense a new dimension. A defense that can rush 4 and drop 7 is a nightmare for any quarterback. Think back to the Super Bowl. The Eagles didn't blitz a single time and still rattled Mahomes with 4 linemen. That's the dream. Pressure with 4, tight windows in coverage, total chaos for the offense. Now let's be real. The Falcons aren't the Eagles just yet, but they're building, they're watching, and in this copycat league, they've got the blueprint. If this works, Ellis doesn't disappear. He evolves. He becomes even more dangerous, because now the offense can't predict when or where he'll strike. At the end of the day, Falcons fans should be excited. With Ellis growing, with new edge talent around him, and with more flexibility in the scheme, this defense might finally have the balance it's been missing. And you better believe that offensive linemen around the league are already thinking, do I focus on Walker, on Floyd, on Pierce? Wait, where's Ellis? That confusion? That's exactly what the Falcons want. Falcons fans, how do you see Kaden Ellis being used this season? Should Raheem Morris pull back and let him roam? Or keep the pressure on and unleash him even more? Drop your take in the comments below and rate the Falcons' new-look defense from 1 to 10. Let's hear it. And here's the nightmare that's about to hit offensive lines across the NFL. Imagine you're a guard. You're staring down the middle of the field, and now you've got Kaden Ellis blitzing right at your chest, full speed. At the same time, James Pierce Jr. is crashing off the edge like a missile. What do? Who do you block? You're forced to make an impossible choice. Help your center stop Ellis exploding up the gut, or swing wide to protect your quarterback from Pierce flying off the edge. No matter what you pick, you're wrong. And that right there is what makes this new Falcons front so dangerous. For the first time in years, this defense has weapons everywhere. And Ellis? He's no longer the only guy carrying the weight. Now he's part of a pack of hunters. That's how you build a defense that doesn't just compete, it breaks people. It wears them down. It controls games. The rest of the NFL better be paying attention.